Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. My name is Eric Cutler. I am with TOOTRiS, and today's webinar, we've got two really special guests that are joining us, Sarah and Storm. They are from the National Early Childhood Program Accreditation. It's a nonprofit organization that helps childcare providers like you with all sorts of cool stuff. And really, that's what we're here to do, is to learn more about their organization, more about their accreditation. And of course, during this program, you can go ahead and ask questions. We're going to go ahead and run through their presentation and have a little Q&A at the end. But if you do have something that comes up, please feel free to ask, and we'll go ahead and address them as they come through. Other than that, we've got a hard timeline of half an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you both, and we'll get going.
Thanks, Eric, and thanks so much again for having us. We're really excited to spend some time with you guys. We know your time is valuable, so thanks for sharing some with us. My name is Storm Webb. I'm going to be doing the presentation, co-hosting with Sarah, and I've had the pleasure of working with NECPA now for going on 8 years. I serve as the executive director, and I'm actually the third generation provider. So my grandmother has owned and operated centers now in Northern Virginia for over 50 years. And Sarah, you want to do a little, hey, how are you?
Sure. So my name is Sarah Passero. I'm the Director of Accreditation for NECPA. I've been with the organization for about 6 years now, and my main role at the organization is assisting programs through the process from enrollment to receiving their award. So I do a lot of phone calls, going over standards questions, timeline questions, really anything to help providers through the process.
Now, I'm actually going to stop my video, or else I'll just look at myself the whole time. So I want to give a great presentation, so I'm going to go ahead and mute my video now. So today we're going to be going over not only an expert look into accreditation and its benefits for your business, but also the top 3 accreditation secrets. Just a brief history about NECPA. Who are we? Why are we even talking to you? Why is it important to listen to us? We're a voluntary independent accrediting body, and we accredit both home-based and center-based providers. We are celebrating our 30th anniversary next month, so 30 years of excellence. We were made by owners for owners. Now that sounds like a nice little catchphrase, but what it means to us is a provider-friendly process. So trying to be simple and straightforward in our standards and the accreditation process itself, making sure that you have oodles and oodles of free resources and support at any time, including custom webinars like this. Competitive pricing and no hidden fees. We want you to spend your money at your program where it belongs. We also support 2 credentials, one for directors and one for teachers. So we try to say we're your one-stop shop for quality. NECPA is also the parent company of the National Child Care Association, which was established in 1996 to support and lobby for licensed providers' rights and needs, including funding. So this slide here kind of goes over what makes us different. And it was actually created by one of our accredited providers for us. She wanted to share her unique experience about why she feels NECPA is different from other accrediting bodies. Our standards were made with your program in mind, to support and uplift best practices. We're not looking to change what you're doing, but to enhance your good practices and increase the overall quality at your program. Our standards are also easily adaptable into your current policies with minimal modifications. So why become accredited? We know, because we choose to work in childcare, that 90% of brain development occurs before age 5. We want to provide the best level of care to children because the care that you provide now lasts a lifetime. Ensuring that you're providing that high quality care is what we got into childcare to do. Additionally, national recognition enables your program to stand out. parents are actively seeking high-rated programs. Everybody Googles everything nowadays. So ensuring that you have great ratings, especially sharing that award in your TOOTRiS profile, is a great way to stand out. There are numerous grants available in California specifically for accredited programs, and they include anything from teacher scholarships to funding for classroom materials. Child Care Aware of America's Military Fee Assistance Program is also highly desirable in California due to the prevalence of military families seeking care. So, what are the steps to accreditation success, and how do you begin? So the accreditation process, regardless of your accrediting body, usually follows these 3 core steps: enrollment or self-study, verification, and award maintenance. We even have a pretty little graph to easily sum it up for you. So our steps are broken into 5, where 4 and 5 really represent kind of the same process, just at different time frames. So process 1 is enrollment, and that's the self-study phase. That's where you go through and assess your program independently. And we'll go over each of these steps more in depth in additional slides later on. Number 2 is verification. And number 3 is receiving your results. Pretty easy peasy. What we like to do is go over the timeline, because that's one of our most frequently asked questions. How long does it take me to become accredited? So enrollment is valid for 2 years, but usually providers, dependent on a few factors, are able to complete self-study in under 6 months. It depends on the director's understanding of the standards, their availability of time to allot towards the accreditation process, as well as the program's current standards alignment. Once you've completed that self-study, it can take up to 4 months to schedule your visit, and that's step 2. And then step 3, it can take up to an additional 2 months to receive your results. So at most, we see this being a 12-month process, dependent on your availability to complete self-study. So what does self-study really mean? What does it entail? So self-study or enrollment can be broken into 3 separate parts: evaluation, implementation, and documentation. So evaluation means evaluating your program against the accreditation standards. Nearly all accrediting bodies provide you with an accreditation book. NECPA's is actually available online for free. You can go to necpa.net and download it today if you'd like to review our standards books. Most standards questions are yes or no, and you can use this as a checklist to note areas of non-compliance as you go through the manual. There are some important factors here when you're going through this evaluation process, the most important of which is involving your staff, your teachers, and your families when you go through observations, your checklists, and in reviewing your policies, procedures, and practices. Here's one of those juicy free resources that I was talking about before. These are available online today for free. You can download them as we go through the presentation together or at your leisure from necpa.net. We have checklists for each classroom by age group from infant to school age. We also have a playground checklist if that's applicable to your program, and parent and staff handbook reviews. Part 2 of self-study or enrollment is implementation. So now that you've identified where you're meeting standards or where there's areas of non-compliance, you can put those changes into effect based off of goals and timelines and available staff members. This could include certain areas of focus, such as staff training, for observable standards, perhaps transitions, behavior management, extending children's critical thinking and skills, maybe even safe sleep training for infants. If you've identified an area within your policy or handbook where perhaps something needs to be updated or even created, we have additionally free resources for that. Perhaps some areas that you want to work on are enhancing your emergency action plans, your hand washing or open door policy, staff materials request sheets, and weekly staff meetings. Additionally, some daily procedures that you may want to practice are hand washing, diapering, transitions, and active play outside with children. These are some areas where we see most frequently asked questions and most often sought support. Here's another free resource called the My Accreditation Work Plan. This is a 15-step procedure that takes you from when you open your book to when you request your visit. It includes areas of focus for involving your staff, when to survey your staff and parents, assessing your classrooms, having periodic meetings with your staff members, and then requesting your visit. The third step of self-study or enrollment is documentation, what we like to call putting together your doc box. Your documentation box for NECPA is one large either box, filing cabinet, binder that contains all of the standards that are documentation specific, meaning we're not able to observe them on the day of the visit. Most accrediting bodies want to see staff qualifications and training, pieces of your handbooks, your assessment tools, your lesson plans, records, logs, posted procedures. We offer several of these logs and checklists and procedures for free on our website. They can be easily downloaded and modified and customized specific to your program. We also have several how-to videos that walk you through each of these steps, including putting together your documentation box. Successfully compiling your documentation box really helps to ensure your visit day goes smooth. Speaking of visit day, now that you've completed self-study, you've identified and implemented the changes needed, you've created your documentation box and answered all the questions in the self-assessment instrument, yes or no, you're ready for your visit. This is where the accrediting body comes to your program and performs classroom observations and reviews the documentation you've prepared. This usually takes up to 6 to 8 hours, since NECPA assesses the entire program and each classroom. That's why it's really important to prepare your doc box well to have a successful visit day. We also utilize regional verifiers. Those are experts in your state, and they are owners and directors themselves. We will never put a competitor in your program as a verifier. We have a very strong conflict of interest policy. We also don't practice gotcha accreditation. NECPA tells you when your verification date is going to be because it's meant to be a day of success. So once you've gone through, the verifier has done part A and part B of the text, because NECPA standards are broken into 2 easy sections. They compile the documentation that's necessary for the council and commission to make a determination based off of your self-assessment instrument. NECPA has 3 main results. You can become fully accredited, pending, or deferred, which means there are some areas of non-compliance still that we want to encourage you to work on. Once you receive your accreditation award, the third step is award maintenance. So quality to us is not an act, it's a habit. And I think this quote from Aristotle really sums up how NECPA approaches accreditation maintenance. You should live accreditation. Consistency of practice is the key to ensuring you're living accreditation. One accreditation report is due each anniversary year. It's essentially a snapshot of your previous year of accreditation. So now we're on to accreditation secrets. So secret number 1, you are already meeting major accreditation standards. Congratulations. So you are meeting and exceeding your state licensing. You have well-trained teachers, or you've trained them well, who follow your program philosophy. And you've also defined your policies in your parent and staff handbooks. And you've defined your practices through, again, that well-trained staff. Accreditation really is about quantifying and recognizing the quality work that you're already performing. Now, each of these used to be their own independent slide, but I'm trying to compress this for easy absorption today within our 30 minutes. So these are each of the areas of major accreditation standards that you already have in place. You follow health and safety procedures, especially now during COVID. You're ensuring positive teacher-child interactions, supervision, continuity of care, active engagement in children's learning, and consistent daily routines and transitions. Your parent and staff handbooks define your policies and create understandings between you, the families you serve, and your staff. You also maintain children's records. You're creating a constant environment for children's success, having developmentally appropriate rooms and spaces, areas for learning. Your facility is clean and well-maintained, be it your home or center, and you have developmentally appropriate learning materials. You also plan for children's learning, either through a curriculum. You promote child choice, self-awareness, and pro-social skills, and you have active physical play throughout the day. You also involve parents and guardians at your program under normal circumstances. So we have a lot of questions recently about, well, how do I continue to have that family involvement when I can't even let the parent into my building? Some different ideas we've heard from our providers are virtual parent education nights and virtual parent-teacher conferences. There's also so many great apps nowadays to share constant daily updates with your parents. But ensuring that you have an open door policy and policies available for review at the day of your visit that reference this involvement with your parents will suffice. Secret number 2, accreditation really is simple and straightforward. How do you ensure that it's simple and straightforward? You choose the accrediting body that works best for your programs. You do this by comparing the tools they give you or the books, compare their standards, and talk about the support that you receive at your time of enrollment or when you enroll. If you feel like any of these areas are lacking, perhaps it's not the right accrediting body for you. Accreditation is also easily achievable with the right supports. You have to allow yourself time and resources up front for the process. And again, you must engage your staff and parents throughout. Accreditation is also just a simple tool to help elevate your program. It's really not meant to create undue stress. The books and resources you receive should enable you to easily evaluate and elevate your best practices. It shouldn't feel like a fight to achieve accreditation. One of the ways we help you identify if NECPA is the best choice for you is by free national comparisons to other major accrediting bodies. You can download these today to see if NECPA accreditation works well for your program. So here's a little bit more about each of those areas before. Making sure you choose that system, that accrediting body, that highlights your program's unique qualities, doesn't change them. I have a handout for this that you'll receive after today's presentation called the Accreditation Comparison Sheet. Making sure that you use your accrediting body to the fullest, as well as your teaching staff. So the accrediting body should be available to you when you call or email at any time. And involving your teaching staff, utilizing some of the free classroom observations and checklists, and meeting with them often to ensure teachers' progress based off of those self-observations will help you meet and attain those standards and live accreditation. Utilizing the manual, I have a slide after this that talks about how we give you ideas for meeting standards and for providing evidence. Using community resources to the fullest, so child care resource and referral agencies, most of them often offer training and support. NECPA actually has a national local mentor support. And then perhaps even using or forming a director support group through your state association. The verification day should also be a day for your program's success and for your teacher's success. It's not a one-off test. It's not pass or fail. So here's the example of how NECPA helps support you in identifying evidence for verification. So this is a little snapshot of our standards book. Each standard has a specific unique identifying number, followed by the standard's content itself. And then 3 is what I feel makes NECPA unique. We give you examples for possible evidence for verification. The last column here, the SAI number, is the self-assessment instrument. So every standard perfectly correlates to a question in the instrument that you answer yes or no. Secret number 3, accreditation is your program's best marketing tool. Making sure that you utilize accreditation to increase your recognition online and offline, especially with TOOTRiS. TOOTRiS actually highlights your program's NECPA award status in your profile. Accreditation helps to increase your enrollment and family retention. And in the long run, higher profitability, longevity of your program, and if you ever retire, a higher selling point. Now, if you're like my grandma, she's never going to retire. We're just going to have to wheel her into the center, but that's okay. Because did you know less than 10% of child care centers nationwide are accredited? Really makes your program stand out when parents are trying to seek new care and education for their children. Here are some examples of programs shouting from the rooftop about their accreditation status. This one post has 133 likes and loves, 31 comments, and 2 shares. Especially now, when parents are hesitant to send children back to school, this award shows them that you go above and beyond for health and safety standards and their child's continuing education. Here are just some more examples of really excited teachers. This really is a big award for your teachers as well, because Your teachers make or break your accreditation. So it's a celebration of their achievement and hard work as well. So increased recognition, not only online, but also offline. Word of mouth is still a great seller for our industry. Parents talking to their friends and colleagues about their child's experience at your program. Using TOOTRiS as your way to show off your accreditation award. There's the National Accreditation Database, as well as parent testimonials about your quality care. Parents are looking for that high quality care, especially now. So we're hoping to see more enrollments come through, as well as family retention. So increased recognition leads to more interested families. High quality care also leads to satisfied families and retention. Increased profitability and longevity. You know, your competitors are becoming accredited. The big guys are becoming 100% accredited in their companies. So help stand out among them and with your other local early childhood programs. Additionally, access to that unique funding stream, those grants and scholarships, and those military fee assistance. So here's an overview of the top 3 secrets. You're already doing a big portion of the work. Just go get the recognition for it. Make sure you pick an accreditation that makes sense for your program so that the process is simple and straightforward. And use accreditation to shout about your program from the rooftops. Make it your marketing tool. So the helpful handouts that you'll receive after today's presentation are the Accreditation Benefits Analysis Sheet, the Accreditation Comparison Sheet, what NECPA sees as the top 5 common mistakes throughout the accreditation process, and the top 5 things NECPA verifiers look for on a verification visit. As Walt Disney said, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So let's talk. What questions do you have about NECPA accreditation or accreditation in general?
Thank you, Storm and Sarah. What a very educational webinar. We have about 45 seconds for questions. So I did see a couple come in. One was if you provide materials for parents once they do get accredited so they can know what kind of summarizes everything you talked about here in the presentation.
So we do provide parent flyers to the programs, and we're working on some new parent education materials regarding our accreditation, just so they'll understand a little bit about the process and the amount of work that goes into it to ensure that a program is meeting all the standards.
Fantastic. And then the second question was, is this something that could potentially be a tax write-off or something from a tax perspective, the fees for accreditation?
We are a nonprofit organization. There are several scholarships available in various states. I'll ask our council about how could we do a write-off for that. So I'll put it together for you, Eric, and follow up afterwards. That's a great question.
Cool, we'll include it in the follow-up email here. And then Sarah, did you want to go ahead and give away that accreditation?
Yes, so we do have a winner who has won our free enrollment. So the winner's name is Iris, and she is based in San Francisco. And Iris, we're so excited to start working with you. So we'll connect with you after the webinar so we can discuss your next steps and us getting you enrolled and sending you your materials.
Congratulations, and thanks for joining today.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We will send an email out after this webinar is completed with a link to this video so you can watch it again if you happen to come in late, as well as all of the materials that Storm discussed during the webinar, including links. So you'll have all that handy, and you'll have also follow-up information to reach out to the NECPA should you have any follow-up questions.
Well, thanks again for having us, Eric. It was really great meeting you and talking with everybody today. And we're hoping we sparked some interest in accreditation. And thank you guys so much for being our first responders. Your work is so valued. Thanks for being the backbone to our economy.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.